Γεια σου όλους σας, είναι ο JohnyThan εδώ και καλώς ήρθατε πίσω στο 14 Days With You. Λοιπόν, την προηγούμενη φορά που παίξαμε, ήμασταν με την φίλη μας, μας εξήγησε πώς ήταν η μέρα της, τι ακριβώς έκανε όταν εμείς λείπαμε με τον Ren. Και ξαφνικά είχαν έρθει άλλοι φίλοι μας και μας καλέσαν να πηγαίνουμε έτσι ραντεβού και εμείς συμφωνήσαμε, αλλά για τώρα είμαστε σε μια συζήτηση με μια φίλη μας εδώ πέρα. Οπότε για να μάθουμε τώρα τι θα γίνει στη συνέχεια με την φίλη μας εδώ. Sure, I can slip away for a moment. Did you need something? Just need an extra pair of hands to sort through some boxes. But if you're busy, I'll manage it by myself. It's fine. I couldn't use a breather. Okay, so perhaps I didn't need to announce that so joyful. With arms checks, I turned back towards Eleanor and Theo to send them one final apologetic look before following after Conan. Okay. Apologies for this. I didn't mean to steal you from your friends. This happened to be sorting through all of the books our co-workers managed to knock over this morning and making sure they were all in the correct category before putting them back onto the cart. Sorry. It felt early similar to what I had been previously doing with Eleanor, only this time there weren't any tails sharp and anyone to keep me company. But man, I swear Conan had to be the only boss would be perfectly fine with their employees slacking off to talk with their friends instead. He hadn't said a word about Theo and possibly Kiara too, depending on how long he'd been standing behind me. Me seemed more than okay with us hunting around the reception desk. Deciding not to push my luck, I returned Conan's soft look with one of my own. It's fine, don't worry about it. I've been meaning to ask you something, actually. Has everything been going alright with you? Ναι, μετά με το ραντεβού, υποθέτω που έκανα με τον τέτοιο. Nothing sad has been happening lately. What do you mean? You haven't seen the news. Someone's body was found in an alleyway near your neighborhood. Αυτό το ξέρουμε ήδη αυτό. She was supposedly bludgeoned and beaten past the point of recognize. It's horrifying to think someone is capable of such crimes. Admittedly, I have been worried for your safety as a late you live by yourself, correct? Yeah, but I've recently had a friend stay with me. Now that I think about it, he's also been concerned for my safety. That's good. I'm glad. Listen, if you wait a minute. That's good. I'm glad. Listen, if something ever happens. Conan awkwardly glanced over his shoulder before returning his gaze back to me. Nothing but simply stares back, and I found myself in a stunned silence. It's my personal number. But due to the lack of clarification, I ended up sending him a confused look instead of thanking him. Nah. Like the bit Isaac. I know you've only recently moved back to Carlar Bay, but you've yet to put someone down as your energy contact. I'm worried you won't have anyone to call in case something does happen. I want to make sure you're safe at all times. Είμαι ασφαλής, αφού έτσι κι αλλιώς έχω ένα αγόρι, γι' αυτό δεν χρειάζεται να ανησυχείς για μένα, αλλά ευχαριστώ για το τηλεφώνημα. Oh, thank you, Conan. Of course. He gives my shoulder a gentle pat before resuming his original task. The conversation falls back into an easy, comfortable silence, and I poked his number before pouring all of my focus towards the books laid out in front of me. The rest of the shift passes by uneventfully, and at some point Eleanor informs me that Chiara had to leave for a work-related matter and would be coming back for a few days. She'd even asked Eleanor to give me her number as well, alongside mentioned something about sharing more embarrassing stories about little Nori the next time we talked, whatever that meant. Still, it was really nice to finally meet Eleanor's sister, and it was even kinder of her to gift me a fountain pen before she left. Or at least I assume it was Chiara. I found the expensive looking box sitting on my desk once I returned, and I wasted no time in opening it up and examining the contest. Okay. The pen itself appeared to be made from extremely high quality materials, and the cursive AQR logo looked rather fancy underneath the light. Okay. The ink was a rich deep red too, which I couldn't wait to use on my papers. I made a mental note to get something for Chiara as well before pocketing the pen next to Conan's number and packing up my belongings for the day. But as I'm slipping out the library back door, I notice a familiar broad backing at patch of blonded hair and a bright red patent shirt standing near the always entrance. Idetja, poseto. Idetji. As I've seen my presence, Leon turns around and greets me with one of his familiar warm smiles. Good day, Darl. Been a while. He sends me a toothy grin before making space for me within the group. Eleanor greets me with a delicate wave, and Theo looks mortally annoyed as usual. Theo was just introducing me to Eleanor and yamming on about this little outing he has planned. Hey, how come you never told me you've never been to the aquarium before? Makes sense though. I reckon it was built a bit after you left the bay, right? So I doubt you had time to check it out. Pretty much most of my free times have been taken up with moving and unpacking boxes. I couldn't help but find myself agreeing with his words. It was crazy how Leon seemed to know me so well, even though we hadn't had the chance to speak to each other like this in a while. But I'm curious to see what it's like. What about you, Nori? I couldn't help but let Chiara nickname for help slip. Yes. I'm the same. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Never been to an aquarium before, so this should be fun. Well, here's hoping that whatever will be more lenient tomorrow. It was pissing down back at yesterday, wasn't it? Did y'all make it home alright? Sniffs it. All of a sudden that earlier feeling comes back, and I resent the urge to turn around and look behind me. I only now notice that I've had my back to the dark all the way this entire time. Angel? Sorry, what was that? You alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. I watch as Leon looks behind me before I glance at Theo and Eleanor for what seems like reassurance. No, it's nothing. I guess I've had a long day at work. Nah, I get a feeling tired. You should head on home then. Please don't let us keep you longer than we should. Want me to drop you off? Cars out front. As much as I appreciate everyone's contact, I honestly wanted to be left alone right now to clear my head, and going on a walk would surely do me wonders. Besides, it was still somewhat brings out and there were people around, so I had no reason to worry about my non-express stalker. I also heard that some new merchandise arrived at the local Magna store, which I had been meaning to check out, so that would certainly help to get my mind off things. It was along my routine home anyway. What harm could possibly come out of a quick detour? At that thought, I quickly planned everyone's concert before embodying my goodness at heading off alone down the street. It wasn't until I got far enough away from the library that they are feeling straight to dissipate. The nostalgic smell of comic books and plastic greets me as I entered the lot too. Familiar Magna store and immediately beneath my way towards the enemy's outside. Nah. I was set on collecting the last remaining accessories for my mini Attack on Giants display, and I wasn't about to let my paranoia get in the way of that. But as I was passing through a few of the aisles, I noticed a familiar shade of pink near the cashier. Namadepson Ren. Is that Ren? Toipa. Even though he was wearing a mask and had his hair tied back, I wouldn't easily pick out his large and hanky film anywhere. Sneaking closer, I notice how he appears to be in a housey conversation with the manager about something confidential, if their conclusion was anything to go by, before he places, I think, manila envelope into her hands and leans back. Oh, I wonder what's inside. Was Ren trading in some old Magna, or what if it's Attack on Giant? Though if it's a ego, then I'm not really sure why he wants to trade them. With how popular the franchise is currently, there isn't much of a higher demand. If anything, there's too much consumable media being produced right now. Wow, αυτά είναι πολλά μεγάλα λόγια που σε κάνουν να διαβάσεις. Everywhere I go, all I see is Haruko, and I wonder I have any other way. And speaking of my beloved Haruko, now that I got a better look at Ren, isn't that a limited edition spring Haruko hoodie? I thought they weren't selling them anymore, but as I'm about to make myself now to ask questions, Ren is already turning on his heels and slipping behind the large ranks filled with cosplay and gaming trend appeal. His height does him no favorites though, as I've watched his head peek out from the top while he bops and waves his way towards the side entrance. At the very moment my phone decided to jump scares me by suddenly going off, and it startles me enough to temporarily forge about Ren. Letting out a spring of curse, I reach into my back pocket and pull it out, only to the month name flashes on the screen with a grin, accept the video call and hold the phone up to my face. Hey, listen, now isn't really a good time to talk, but... Oh no, that's terrible, get well soon, or sorry for your loss, or whatever. Anyway, listen. Guess who won all of the paid holiday trip overseas? Me, that's who. I'd be a while since the last month phase, but apparently just as boisterous as I remember them. Okay. And for free too. I mean, okay, yeah, I still need to pay for food and stuff, but hey, where are you? I'm in a Magna store. Hold on, can we backtrack for a second? You got 3 tickets, or to where? Is what I how to call fingering. Can you get in for me, please, 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 please? Moth, I'll pay you back, promise. I'll pay for shipping too. It's so cute. Look at this widely outfit. Looks his tiny little jacket and tiny little shoes. With an eye roll, I reach behind me for the fingering, but not before picking up the accessory I originally came in here for, and slowly make my way towards the cash register. Once my hoots and hollers calm down, I gently try to coax them back onto the original topic. Alright, you ask where I'm going. Well, it's actually a surprise. Seriously? A good surprise though. Hey, you're still in Coral. For a brief moment, their screen starts to lag and loading pops out. Nah, Moth. Beck, I'll be in almost. That's okay with you. Their voices cuts in out, giving an almost robotic effect before the screen eventually fades to black. With a heavy sigh, I ended the call and shoot Moth a text to let them know that they got disconnected yet again. But as an expert military looks out the window, I notice the blurry outline of Ren's figure sitting on a beach outside, busying himself with what looked like a phone in his hands. Next! The cashier voice pulls me away from my thoughts, and I quickly pay for my purchases, all while spying not so sensitive glance at Ren from beyond the shop windows to make sure that he's still there. It was strange, but I couldn't help but hope I'd get a chance to catch up with him on my way out. I now barely been more than a day since I last saw him, but I still wanted to thank him for staying at my place the other day and keep me watched. Hey, que pude aqui no teu agora, It was strange to feel safe in the presence of someone I barely knew, but a part of me wanted to keep Ren around on the off chance that my non-existent stalker showed their ugly head. The cashier pulls my attention away by handing me a bag and receipt, and I give them my thanks before making a beeline towards the exit. But just as the door swings open, I notice that Ren had already left. He was no longer on the beach where I last saw him, and I couldn't stop him on either end of the street either. It was like he was never there in the first place, and I almost found myself wondering if I had imagined the whole thing. It was a shame though. I really wanted to see him and his charming smile again. But Charlotte Bay isn't that big of a coastal town in retrospect, so I'm sure we were bound to run into each other again sooner or later. I mean, I literally met Ren at my own workplace because we started a few common instances in books. He's just so happened to be about a native flora. That kind of stuff wasn't something either of us could control, and I was most likely looking too deep into it still. I felt strange all the same. Oh well, there was no use dealing over it. I was bound to run into Ren again at some point, regardless if I had a way to contact him or not. Nah. It was beginning to get dark once I arrived back at my apartment complex, so I quickly ushered my way up the staircase and onto my floor. But as I'm making the long trek back upstairs, I bump into someone listening around the corner and almost lose my footing. Whoa! Guessing αυτός. Μπέου. Wow. There, right before my eyes, is my landlord by the other person by his side. He is a complete stranger to me. Ahem. Good evening, Angel. Finish with the day? You there, you are. Have you been getting my complaints? Complaints? What are they talking about? Και γιατί τα μαλλιά σου μου θυμίζουν σαν του Ren τώρα? I don't believe either of you have met yet. Shall I introduce the two of you? Was he seriously trying to divert the conversation right now? Angel, I want you to meet my daughter. This is my pride and joy, Haruko. It's Haruka. Ah, yes. You mean like the main protagonist from Attack on Giant? Unfortunately, your father seriously named you after an anime character? Yeah, so maybe he's tad bit obsessed with the anime. Shy, he wears those stupid clips and painted his nails pink. These blue rhythms were my addition though. But if you think being called Haruka is embarrassing enough, my younger sister was named after his favorite character of all time, Ren. Haruko Atsunus, you can't be serious. Wait, no, we're getting off topic again. Bill, did you or did you not get my complaints? Come again? He looks up from his phone and spares a glance in my direction. Sorry, Angel. I've been so distracted lately. You see, I've always had an interest in renovation old buildings. In fact, I recently bought yet another apartment complex in New South Wales for this very purpose. I suppose that makes it 28 billion now, right? My adorable little Mushka is always so hard keeping tracks of everything. Nah, is he? I'm grown adult, don't call me that. Oh, but you've always been my sweet baby princess. It's like I'm not even here. But as soon as Beru reached out a print of Haruka's cheeks in a afternoon manner, I take a moment to fully absorb their conversation. So my landlord brought yet another building, huh? Well, that probably explains why he hardly even bothers to take care of this apartment. Well, whatever, I didn't have time for this or their mushy tender a moment. Without another word, I quickly excuse myself for the conversation and make my way home. Nah. Not bothering to turn on the light, I tossed my keys into the tray, strung off my jacket, and unfortunately dropped myself onto the couch. Today had been a whirlwind of events and emotions, and the worst part was that it still hadn't ended yet. I still had an hour or so left before I consider any dinner plans, so I figured out I might as well spend the evening winding down in the meantime. All too quickly, an idea pops into my head and I reach over to grab my phone. Okay, ας καλέσουμε κάποιον. Figuring it'd be best to catch up with someone instead of chewing in my apartment alone, I pull up my Constar list and scroll through it. Constant numbers immediately captures my attention, being the newest addition to my contracts and sitting near the top of the list before my curiosity being to stray once more. Without so much of a hesitation is I tap on that person's number and bring the phone closer to my ear. Μισό, γιατί ο Ρεν? Ο Ρεν είναι έτσι. Ας δοκιμάσουμε τον Ρεν. Odd, I don't remember scrolling all this way down to view his contract details. Nevertheless, I find myself tapping on Red's name and bringing the phone closer to my ear. He picks up almost immediately, and I can practically feel the sentiments and more flowers expressed from the screen and hit me in the face. And before I know it, Ren is agreeing to come over as soon as he can, so I quickly turn the light back on, clean the place up a bit, and uncomfortably he arrives. Nah, sorry. Okay, καλώς τον Ren, and barely the 10 minutes pass before I hear a loud knocking at my front door. Almost immediately I leap to my feet and unlock it with a smile. Καλώς τον Ren. Ren, hey, come on in. I see not much has changed since the last time I was here. Nah. I also brought some takeout with if that's okay. I figure you hadn't had a chance to eat yet. Wow. How do you know? It's like you can read my minds or something. Barely recently, the look on his face gently coaxes Ren into my living room. He makes himself at home and on my couch, and I bring a few untended from my kitchen for the food he so kindly brought. Oh, by the way, were you at the Magna store earlier today? I thought I saw you there. Yeah, I know you did. I mean, because I saw you as well. After I left, I noticed you thought the window. Well, that seems to confirm my thoughts about Ren sitting outside the store. Standing by forks into the food, I take a bite and let out a pleased hum from all the delicious flavors dancing on my tongue. Really? You said hi? No, you should have said hi and relaxed on after a little spot. I thought about it, but you seemed really focused on something. And then you got to a call, so... yeah, that was my friend Moth. Oh, that reminds me, Ren. At that, his full attention is immediately on me. Take long forgetting as the teller male moves in his seat to face me. I remember you saying that you like Attack on Giant too, right? I couldn't introduce you guys. They're the hell fan for the anime, and I'm sure they won't mind. Oh, Moth is the one who interests. Almost silly, he turns his head away and meekly scratches at his jaw. I don't mind, but I was expecting Ren to be so hesitating and suddenly left. He felt bad for stripping this all onto him without considering how he might feel as well. Hey, no need to force yourself if you don't want to. That's okay. I just thought it'd be nice to let them have someone else to talk to, you know. Moth has trouble making friends, and most of the times they're only talking to me. Yeah, that's too bad. He sent me a sad look coupled with a froth before returning to the plate of food before him. Although I was thinking about math, I really didn't want to force Ren into befriend someone if he didn't want to. Okay, και νομίζω πως θα είναι καλή ιδέα να το σταματήσουμε μέχρι εδώ. Ναι, θα είναι καλή ιδέα να το σταματήσουμε μέχρι εδώ. Λοιπόν, φέραμε τον Ren πίσω στο σπίτι μας. Το μάθαμε ότι ήταν μέσα σε ένα μαγαζί, αλλά δεν κατάφερε να πει γεια σε μας γιατί μας είδε ότι ήμασταν στο τηλέφωνο και δεν ήθελε να μας ενοχλήσει. Αλλά ξαφνικά τι έκανε και φορά για τη μάσκα, ήταν άρρωστος. Κάτι μου μυρίζει τώρα για τον Ren, παρόλο που τον φίλησα και έγινε το αγόρι μου στα προηγούμενα 2 επεισόδια τώρα, ή και στα 3, τέλος πάντων. Το βρίσκω λίγο περίεργο. Ο Ren, πιστεύετε ότι ο Ren θα ήταν ένας προδότης τώρα, θα ήταν ένας δολοφόνος, ένας κλέφτης, κάτι τώρα. Γιατί τον αφορά μια μάσκα, σου δείχνει ότι μπορεί να κλειστεύει κάτι, ή μπορεί απλώς να είναι άρρωστος και δεν θέλει να κολλήσει κάποιον τώρα. Ποιος ξέρει, ή απλώς δεν του αρέσει οι μυρωδιές που είναι μέσα στο μαγαζί τώρα. Μπορεί να ήταν οι μυρωδιές που είχε μέσα το μαγαζί με το. Πώς είναι τα πλαστικά, ας πούμε, ότι παίρνεις ένα CD, το σπάς και όταν ανοίγεις μυρίζεις αυτή τη μυρωδιά και είναι τόσο όμορφη. Μπορούσε σε αυτό να είναι, μάλλον δεν θα του αρέσει η μυρωδιά. Ποιος ξέρει. Αλλά τέλος πάντων, θα μάθουμε στο επόμενο επεισόδιο τι θα γίνει με τον Ren και με τους υπόλοιπους. Αλλά τέλος πάντων, αν σας άρεσε, παιδιά, μην ξεχάσετε να βάλετε μια εγγραφή και να αλλάξετε αυτό το βίντεο. Αυτό το demo πάντως πρέπει να πω ότι είναι πολύ μεγάλο. Ποιος ξέρει πόσο πολύ μεγάλο θα είναι αυτό το demo. Θα το μάθουμε όταν το καταφέρουμε και το περάσουμε. Και περιμένουμε να δούμε το επόμενο ολόκληρο το παιχνίδι, το πώς θα είναι όταν βγει ολόκληρο. Τέλος πάντων. Και πάντοτε θα σας δω στο επόμενο βίντεο. Γεια σας!